sir.
Qualified.
One more, baby. Knockout round. Come on.
Big shot O.
One more, we in Vegas.
Let's go to Vegas.
Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Bryce is back at it again for another Believe in Hawks episode. Hawks fans, NBA fans, whoever is watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, first thing I got to start with is the Atlanta Hawks win Group C in the Eastern Conference of the NBA Cup to advance to the knockout stage as the Boston Celtics defeated the Chicago Bulls to help the Hawks clinch the group. And now the Hawks will now move on, like I mentioned, to the knockout stage and try to get one step closer to Las Vegas. Obviously, big win, big, moment for the team. I know the NBA Cup is relatively new, but still a very important win because this is a in-season tournament they created to add interest to the game, to build excitement for the game. And remember, teams are playing hard in the NBA Cup, and the Hawks had to go through a heck of a group to get to that point. So we're going to talk about that win over Cleveland today, which helped them complete the first half of what they needed to do, but also in a very impressive fashion against Cleveland today. Then obviously talk about the NBA Cup. Like I said, guys who stepped up and everything under the sun on this episode of Believe in Hawks. Obviously, guys, if you would like to follow me on social media, Bricey_2K, BRICEY_2K. That's across all social media platforms. If you watch this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you enjoy Hawks content and want more, obviously, my audio listeners, go ahead, leave a rating and review as well as we give a breakdown of our Atlanta Hawks, as a lot of Hawks fans right now are very excited, very happy knowing that this team potentially will be now put on a national stage. Hawks didn't have a lot of national games this year, but now can be put on a national stage, and guys like Ricochet, guys like Dyson Daniels, guys like Jalen Johnson can now be seen by the entire country and know what type of team that they're building in Atlanta. So really big stuff there. So like I mentioned, Hawks today took care of business earlier the day against the Cleveland Cavaliers, winning that game 117 to 101. and the thing about it in that particular situation, just focusing on what they had to do to take care of their business, they beat the team with the best record in the NBA twice. Before today, Cleveland had the best record in the NBA, only had 2 losses on the year. Obviously, the last one came, which we talked about it on Wednesday, and now they had another one in Atlanta. Hawks really, the last 2 games, man, have really put it together, and they've done it in 2 different ways. If you look at these 2 games, Wednesday, the Hawks just were able to make threes. They were able to stay afloat, weather the runs of Cleveland, and then it was a high scoring game. It was literally a 135 to 124 one. So that was a very high scoring game. Today was a different game. It was more of a defensive game. This game was very defensive heavy, especially in the first half. I believe it was 52 to 50 at halftime. Hawks finished with 117 points. Cleveland only 101. So they were able, defensively, the Hawks were able to maintain their defensive intensity through 2 halves of basketball. And basically, Cleveland scored 50 and 51 points in 2 halves. And the Hawks were able to up the offensive ante a little bit in the second half and get to 117 in a game that you may say, Hawks, outside of that first stretch of the game where the Hawks were a little sloppy with the ball, some turnovers early, the Hawks pretty much, I guess you can make the argument, was able to control this game. Now, obviously, in the first half, it got a little closer at the end. Darius Garland was hitting some unreal threes. He was just jacking shots up and making them. Happens. Some guys get on heaters. If you watch the Boston game, obviously, as a lot of Hawks fans were fans of the Boston tonight, Peyton Pritchard, he went crazy against the Bulls. He just started raining threes. I think he had didn't he have 19 in 7 minutes, 6 minutes? So, sometimes that happens in the league. Guys get on heaters, but the Hawks were able to maintain defensive intensity and ratchet up the offensive intensity to get the win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. And what I asked was, is this win the most impressive win of the season for the team? And I got some comments, got some feedback. Some say no because they feel like the game against Boston without Trae Young, obviously that's when we had more injuries. To go and win that in Boston was still extremely impressive, especially a game that they trailed basically the whole game and then came back at the end to win. So a lot of people feel like that's the most impressive game still. But some people think Cleveland's the most impressive game because the way they did it, the way they beat Cleveland, the way they beat them twice, the way that they pretty much they beat them by double digits, both games, a team with the best record in the league. So people look at that and think, the level they played at a high level, a playoff team level to beat Cleveland. And you saw a lot of good things. So I like to ask that question to you guys. If you leave it down in the comments below, was this the most impressive win of the season? Do you see the Boston game was the most impressive win? Unless there's another game y'all want to throw out there. So obviously that's a little good conversation point. But yeah, like I said, Hawks, like I said, really came into this game, man. And this was a game where a lot of people were kind of thinking the Hawks were going to lose. It's like I said in the last game, a lot of people thought Hawks were going to lose in Cleveland, and then we'll see what happens on Friday. Well, we beat them in Cleveland. And now people thought, okay, well, we beat them in Cleveland, so they're definitely going to get revenge on us on Friday and beat us in Atlanta. They didn't. And one of the biggest things in this game that has hindered the Hawks in a lot of games, but has not really hindered them against Cleveland, is the three-point shot. As I mentioned, last game, Hawks won the three-point battle. Hawks haven't won the three-point battle in God knows how long in a game. And in both Cleveland games, that and today, they won the three-point battle. And that's huge because that means teams are not outscoring the Hawks at the three-point line. One of the biggest issues the Hawks have is they're having to try to make up for the amount of points they're behind in the three-point battle because the other team makes more threes than them. And obviously, Quinn and Trey have talked about it multiple times about, it's hard to win when your team's making more threes than you are. Because, especially if it's by a margin, because now that's more points they're getting just off that shot, and you have to make two shots just for you to have a point positive differential when they can just make one, right? And tonight, like I said, what's the three-point barrage that it was in Cleveland? They only made 14 threes tonight, but Cleveland only made 11. And I can honestly say, through watching this game, the Atlanta Hawks three-point defense in this game was really good. They were closing out. I felt like they weren't overhelping in this game. If you watch these two games defensively, you saw the Hawks, like I said, did some things in the first game, made some mistakes, but were able to get stops late to win that game. This game, they were able to maintain a defensive intensity throughout the game. Even when their shot wasn't going down in the first half, the Hawks were able to defend Cleveland, and you were able to see their length and athleticism. You were able to see why they acquired Ricochet, why they got, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, all of them impacting the game with their length and their defense. And I think that gave them issues. That gave Cleveland issues. Donovan Mitchell tonight for the Cleveland only had 12 points. And that was not Dyson's primary assignment. That was a group effort, and they held Donovan Mitchell to 12. Darius Garland, like I said, he had a heater in the first half. I believe he had 20 at the half. He only had 29 to finish the game. But, that just shows you the defensive game the Hawks had. So I really want to give credit to the defense, really, for the Hawks for what they did tonight. Hold Cleveland to 41% from the field. 41%. Great defensive game. 29% from three. Hawks did turn the ball over a little bit tonight. But a lot of that was first half. They were able to clean it up. So they lost the rebound battle. They had 18. Cleveland had 13, but it worked out. Hawks, 33 assists. Remember, last game they had 39. 33 assists tonight. So, again, Hawks, there's a couple things there are three things that the Hawks do, they win. They win the three-point battle. They win the assist battle, 30+. And DeAndre Hunter goes for 20. I think the Hawks are still undefeated when DeAndre Hunter scores 20 points. Which I'll get to him later in the pod. And just how big he's been for them. Hawks, against a team who you could say has the size advantage, Hawks won the rebounding battle 53-40. Offensive rebounds were pretty even. Cleveland had 11, Hawks had 10, but for the most part, Hawks won the rebounding battle tonight. They had 5 blocks. Cleveland didn't have a single block in this game. For a team that is known for their length, did not impact the Hawks shots as much. And then, like I said, went on and, like I said, had a pretty solid game across the board for the team overall. So, and like I said, because they took care of business against Cleveland, like I said, a lot of people were hoping for Boston to win. against Chicago. Obviously, that's a game that people would favor Boston to win. But obviously, like I said, NBA Cup, I said this on Twitter. The one thing I love about the NBA Cup is that every team is playing. Every team is trying to win. Like Boston literally came into the season saying, we want to make it out of the group stage. We want to advance. Like teams are trying to win. So if you win your group, if you win games in the NBA Cup, this isn't some teams don't care, some teams care. Teams care. So you're getting their best shots and best performances. And so for the Hawks to come out of what some people were calling the group stage of death, you had the two top best Eastern Conference teams in your group. And you beat them both. You beat them both to get out of the group stage. I mean, that's extremely impressive. Extremely impressive for the Hawks, man. Listen, they could lose the knockout round. We don't know. But the fact that they were able to get past it, I think, is a great confidence boost. And I feel like the NBA Cup, just like I feel like what it did for Indianapolis last year, if you remember Indy making that run in the NBA Cup, getting to the final game before losing to the Lakers, I think it did wonders for Indiana as a team. And they were able to make the Eastern Conference Finals that year. So I'm not saying that the Hawks are about to make it to the NBA Cup Finals and then make the Eastern Finals. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, depending on how long they are in this is great exposure for them being on a national stage. This is great for the team to be playing, and I've been saying this, more meaningful basketball. One thing some people may have felt is the Hawks haven't played meaningful basketball since the Boston series a couple of years ago, right? Technically, NBA Cup games are meaningful basketball because you are competing for something. You have something you're motivated to get. The other team is motivated to get it as well. So you're both trying to play your best basketball to win. So both teams are going to come out, whoever the Hawks play as, they're the first team in the Eastern Conference to clinch their group in the group stages of the NBA Cup. And, they'll be playing for something and they'll be competing. And I want to pose this question. This is the second question I want to pose to you guys. I want to pose this to y'all. And I asked this on Twitter, mixed reaction. If the Hawks win the NBA Cup, do you want a banner hung in State Farm Arena? Now, if you remember, the Lakers hung a banner, and they won championships, and they felt like, and I don't know if that's an NBA thing or that's the Lakers wanting to do that, right? But they put a banner up in their arena. Do you want the Hawks to do that if they won? Do you want that banner hanging? Some have said no. They said, I'll take the trophy. I'll take the, whatever comes with it. I'll take the money. But I don't want the banner because that's not the championship. Some are like, listen, the NBA wants it. It shows that you won something of meaningfulness. It's a league-wide event. This isn't just a Pacific Group event. This is a league-wide event that you won. You outlasted 29 other teams to win this. And so some people are like, why not hang it up in State Farm? So what are you guys' thoughts? Drop your comments down below. Should the Hawks, if they won the NBA Cup, hang a banner in State Farm Arena? So I'll leave that to you guys to kind of just to talk about. And like I said, y'all want to have a discussion about it in the comments? That's cool too with me, man. So yes, sir. Like I said, Hawks winning C group of the Eastern Conference play-in. And obviously, just a heads up, guys, obviously with them doing that, their schedule is going to get a little wacky because this is a tournament and not every team that's coming up on the Hawks schedule is going to advance. So don't be surprised if you see some games kind of moving around because that's how they have to do it. And obviously, don't forget the Hawks makes the NBA group that does not count towards the regular season. So that's just a game they're playing in. So that's an extra game that they're just trying to win. So just something to point out. But yeah, so let's go ahead and break down player performances from the Cleveland game, going back to what the Hawks did earlier. So listen, I got to give some love to DeAndre Hunter again, man. Like DeAndre Hunter, second game in a row, man. Heating up 20-plus points off the bench, been key to this Hawks team and what he's brought. And I said this last episode, and I'll say it again. It feels like for this variation of the Atlanta Hawks, DeAndre Hunter is very important to this team's success. And like I said, that may scare some people because of his injury history. But that also is something that could be a credit to the work that he has put in. Quinn mentioned it after the game. One of the reasons why DeAndre has been such a better three-point shooter last year and this year is Antonio Lang, assistant coach Antonio Lang, has been working with Hunter and especially working with him to get a quicker shot, which obviously has helped improve his three-point percentage and has made him a dangerous three-point threat. Because if Hunter is hitting threes, then now defenses, again, you have to play him differently. Because Hunter has showed he could post you up, score inside, or he could just start raining down threes on you. And I think that makes him, I guess you could say, a higher end 3-and-D player. And now, when he's giving them that type of offense that they've been getting from DeAndre Hunter, that makes the Hawks really tough to beat. It also increases the bench firepower that they have. Like I said, DeAndre Hunter, 23, 5, and 3 tonight, had 14. He had the highest plus minus out of every bench player with 14. And I mean, Hunter has just been excellent. He's been excellent the last 2 games against Cleveland. He has been one of the biggest reasons why they've beaten Cleveland. And so, got to give credit where credit is due to DeAndre Hunter being extremely important for what the Hawks have been trying to do, trying to win games, trying to, get this team back on track. Obviously, a guy who missed about 2.5 weeks. People were confused. It was day to day. Then it turned into weeks. And then we found out he had this kid, and now he's back, and now he's been hooping. Outside of maybe like 1 or 2 average to not good games, I mean, for the most part, the last out of 6 games, I mean, he's at 4 games where he's played pretty well. And I think the Hawks have won, I think maybe outside of the Blazers game. I think I could be wrong. I'd have to go back to that one. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, he didn't even play in that game. All right. So yeah. So basically, Kings game he played. Cleveland games, he's played very well. He's played really good basketball, and they've won those games. So DeAndre Hunter, man, key to the Hawks, man, playing really good basketball. And like I said, give him credit. He was a part of the defensive effort on Donovan Mitchell, and he was able to create problems for him. And so, like I said, Hunter's showing his value. And like I said, when it comes to guys like Hunter, it's about roles, man. It's about roles. 3 years ago, DeAndre Hunter was the wing. They didn't have nobody else at the wing. He was the have to carry the wing position, and I just feel like that's not what DeAndre Hunter can be for you. But you're saying, hey, DeAndre, come off the bench, play defense, hit some threes, get some post-ups. DeAndre Hunter can excel at that. It's all about roles, man. You got to define a role for a player and then say, can you do this for me? And a player can do that well. What's the issue with DeAndre Hunter? Like people are going to still probably bring up DeAndre Hunter's trade value. And I'm like, I mean, if you look how important he is for this team, I don't see the Hawks trading him. Like, it's just, I mean, if you trade him, you better get a equal wing back to do that. Because if not, I mean, you're kind of hurting the team, So, especially when you can clearly see the Hawks do not want to put the whole weight on Ricochet. Like, I know some of y'all want to put weight on guys just to say they got to just swing or swim, but, like, you don't actually have to. And the Hawks are not choosing to go down that route. And Hunter, he's basically still playing starter minutes coming off the bench. So, but providing firepower. So, obviously, that's been big for the Hawks to get that type of production. Jalen Johnson tonight, 29-7, another solid game for Jalen Johnson. Continues his stretch of really, really good basketball. Like I said, nothing like points getting about 20. I mean, he's doing what a second option's supposed to do, but also doing it on the boards and doing it through the playmaking. So Jalen Johnson continues to do well. 9 of 14 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Had the highest plus minus out of every Hawk on the team in this game. Like I said, Jalen Johnson, man, he definitely continues to impress, continues to show out, continues to play the game the right way. And the thing is, I mean, like I think a lot of people feel, this is not DeAndre Hunter. This is not Jalen Johnson's ceiling. Like you still can watch his game and say there's so much growth for Jalen. And that's why the Hawks gave him that money, because they said, we think you're going to be better. They are expecting Jalen Johnson to be better than the contract they gave him. They're just blessed to know that Jalen let them pay him that type of money now. And now they don't have to worry about that. They can worry about giving Jalen. They don't have to worry about giving Jalen Johnson a max contract and 4 or 5 years. So Jalen Johnson, man, continues to play really well for the Hawks. Trae Young tonight, 21-11. After 2020 vision had 21-11 tonight. Much more efficient game offensively. 7-12. Only took 12 shots tonight, but made 7. 2 of 5 from 3, 5-5 from the free throw line. Struggled early. I believe in the first half he had like 6 turnovers. He wasn't playing great from that perspective, but in the second half he really cleaned it up. He really cleaned it up in the second half. And like I said, Trae hasn't been the 30 and 10 guy, but he's put more emphasis on his playmaking ability, which is, like I said, I think that's what Quinn wants. He wants Trae to be able to just facilitate. And then, like I said, get that 20-25 point range for him. I think Quinn Snyder will be very happy with that. I really think he's trying to get rid of the days of like we need Trae to get 30 and 10 for us to win games. Where now he's like, Trae Young can get you 22 points and y'all still can win games because the team around him is that much better and they've constructed a system in place to allow the rest of the team to still carry a load that can help them win games. And then you're beating good teams like Cleveland, like Boston without him or with him. So I think, overall, Trae Young tonight continues, or earlier today, continued to play well. And obviously, thing is too about this is that the Hawks have to play Saturday in Charlotte in a back-to-back. So we'll see what that looks like because guys like Okongwu usually don't play in back-to-back so far. I don't know if Hunter is going to play in the back-to-back tomorrow. I don't know if do they rest Bogey. I'll be intrigued to see what the injury rotation looks like because usually there's some guys come back with injuries. I know they're very careful with back-to-backs like a lot of teams are, but it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. But overall, like I said, Trae Young, good performance tonight, did what he needed to do. Hawks got what they needed from their star. Dyson Daniels tonight, obviously, offensively was not his night. 7 points tonight, 7 rebounds, continuing to work on the boards, 4 assists, 3 steals tonight as well, and a block. So, Dyson impacting the games in different ways. I've said this is going to be Dyson's formula. This is going to be his role. Even if he's not giving you offense, how can he impact the game in different ways? Is it through his defense? Is it through his passing? Is it through his rebounding? And that just continues to show you the type of player that Dyson is. Like I said, because offensively, this wasn't his night tonight. He was 3 of 10 for the field. So, and he was 0-2 from the free throw line. So, Dyson, I think, again, tasked with trying to guard Garland and Mitchell at times, trying to slow those guys down, kind of put more of an emphasis on that end of the ball and just other things in general to help the Hawks win that game. So, like I said, not nothing crazy from Dyson tonight, but still overall, I think Dyson, still impacted the game. Capella tonight. Played a little bit more minutes tonight, 8 points, 13 rebounds, a little bit more. He had the second highest plus minus at the starters and second highest plus minus on the team. So this was actually a strong game for Capella. 3 blocks tonight, 2 steals for him as well. So Capella active on the defensive end tonight. Capella just, really just did his work again in the dirty work. Rebounding and defense. That is just
getting the Hawks over 5 assists a game. How about that bullet to find Ricochet?
That's a wonderful pass. Saw the defense.
If he does that, anything else, any offense he gives you is a plus. And obviously we could continue to talk about the center situation and what the Hawks need to do with the center situation and who they need to acquire and things like that. At the end of the day, the Hawks also feel like, listen, he still does something that we need. And so until we can get a player that thinks that we can still maybe keep that while also providing more offense, we'll look into it when that situation comes. But as of right now, this is your center situation. Ricochet tonight, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 of 8 from field. I think Ricochet played well. He had a great block. He saved 2 points. Extremely athletic block. I forgot who it was on, but Ricochet, man, showing the athleticism. And I think y'all might agree with me on this. Ricochet has seemed a little bit more confident last couple of games. He seems more comfortable. He got a little bit more minutes. I think he cracked the 20-minute mark tonight. 21 minutes tonight. Because, those he's been playing like 15, 17, 18, 16 minutes recently. So, obviously, the fact that he got more minutes tonight kind of shows that, in the way he was playing, I feel like, I think, especially defensively, because I think a lot of the time he was asked to help guard Donovan Mitchell tonight, because obviously they wanted to put length on him tonight. That was what they wanted. The Hawks wanted to do. They wanted to put length on Donovan Mitchell. So they put Hunter. They threw him and Rishi at him. And I think that impacted Mitchell tonight. And then, like I said, Capella being a rim protector. And I think that really helped them out in the grand scheme. And so, like I said, Rishi still growing, still learning, 19 years old, but still impacting the game. And like I said, and I've mentioned it with multiple guys so far, and this is just the theme of this team, is they have guys who can impact the game in different ways without scoring the basketball. And I think that's going to be huge, because obviously coaches are going to tell you, can you impact the game in different ways? Can you impact the game in other avenues? Does it have to be, because some people, I think we get so caught up in scoring, right? We get so caught up in that, but we don't look at, what did they do defensively? Did they get loose balls? Did they play with energy and effort? Did they contribute on the boards? Did they create turnovers? Were they getting deflections? Things of that nature. And so Rishi has always, pretty much for the most part, done a really good job. I think he has a very good defensive rating right now as well, the last couple of games. So he's been very impactful, I think, especially on the defensive end. But he's also given them some offense, which has obviously been a big help as well. Bogey tonight only had 10 points tonight. He only went 2 of 8 from 3, missed some shots early. But at the end of the day, like I said, I've talked about how important Bogey is kind of to this team, just because he's the one pure shooter in this lineup that's like, all right, we got to make sure he doesn't get good looks. But overall, I mean, 6 rebounds. Again, you see group rebounding effort. Multiple guys. Jalen 9, Dyson 7, Clint 13, Hunter 5, Bogey 6, Okongwu 7. A group rebounding effort tonight from everybody. But like I said, Bogey tonight, like I said, wasn't his best game by any stretch of the imagination, but it was okay. He still did what he needed to do out there. He competed, and that's all you can ask for from Bogdanović. Okongwu tonight, 15 and 7 tonight. Okongwu has an interesting matchup, because technically you would think of Cleveland as a bad matchup because of their length, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. But I mean, he played less than Capella tonight, but I mean, for him in 22 minutes to get you 15.7 rebounds, I think that really boded well for them. I think, because again, he's a great roller to the rim, a guy who when he's making shots around the basket, can give you these types of performances and provide a huge boost to you at the center position. Right now, the Hawks are trying to get 2 things from 2 players instead of, obviously, I know everybody wants to get them both from one guy, but right now that's how they're doing it, and that's how they're building it out. And right now, I think Okongwu, like I said, 6 of 8 tonight, 1 of 2 from 3. Doing what he can out there to help provide offense and, like I said, be active on the boards with the rest of the team, as the Hawks, like I said, were part of that winning the rebounding battle against Cleveland. And then Kobe Bufkin tonight did really have a great game. 0-3 from the field, 0-2 from 3. 3 assists tonight. Nothing too crazy tonight from Kobe, but, I mean, it happens. He's still growing, still getting better every week, every game. So, I mean, like I said, you got some young players still going to have inconsistent performances. That's just part of it. But luckily tonight, he did do a good job on the defensive end. Had a steal, also helped create a couple of turnovers, and just really doing some good defensive work. Obviously, that's his strength, and that's what he's known for. So overall tonight, man, Hawks, like I said, very impressive 2-game set, beating Cleveland, who had the best record in the league, twice in their house than in Atlanta. You now advance in the NBA groups, NBA Cup. They are now winners of Group C. Just a couple of tidbits too. Hawks shot 52% tonight from the field. So, I mean, that's also been a key for them, shooting over 50% in a game. Hawks, like I said, got to get ready for Charlotte as they play them Saturday at 6 in Charlotte. So, quick turnaround. We'll see how that looks. Obviously, I know people are going to be like, oh, yeah, we should beat Charlotte. Listen, Charlotte is a wildly fun and interesting team. And I don't know. I'm fully expecting LaMelo Ball to drop 40 because he'll just start playing like he's playing with AirPods in his ear and not knocking down threes. If it's just he just throws it up there and he knocks it down. So I'm fully prepared for that. They actually had a ton of injuries, so I'm interested to see how many people are going to play against us. I would not be shocked if they sat everybody in that game and said, "Oh, we're just going to play them against the Hawks on Saturday." Would not be shocked at all. But obviously, I know a lot of people are going to expect us to beat the Hornets before Monday. Interesting matchup as DeJounte Murray returns to Atlanta to play the Hawks. So that obviously will be an interesting matchup. Milwaukee, LA, Denver, and San Antonio and Memphis come up after that. So the Hawks' schedule, like I said, is going to shift because of the NBA Cup, but also they have some really good teams coming up. So the fact that you're going to beat Cleveland twice, can they keep this up? Can they keep this consistency? Because what you saw is, for the last 2 games especially, is what Quinn Snyder envisions for this team. It's what he thinks this team can be. It's what he thinks that this team has the ceiling to become. Defensively, disruptive, make it tough on opponents. Offensively, you make your shots. You have a more cleaner shot profile. Get to the rim, hit threes. You can win games. And so this Hawks 2-game set, I think, built a lot of confidence. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say this is a very confusing team because they lost the Wizards twice. The only 2 wins the Wizards have all season. Obviously, you have to take into account, even though people don't want to accept that, Hawks did have half the roster out for those games. But like I said, Hawks, did a really good job of taking care of business tonight. And, they're 3-4 against the 2 top teams in the – they've won 3 out of 4 games against the 2 top teams in the Eastern Conference. So that makes you feel good. And if you want to throw the Knicks in there, they also have another win. So be interested to see what happens. Like I said, as there's actually a week left of the NBA Cup group stage. There are some teams that are still playing next week. Like I said, the Hawks, the only Eastern Conference team, has clinched their group. So we will know probably next week who the Hawks will play in the knockout stage. And then we'll go from there. And then if the Hawks win that, they will head to Las Vegas for, I believe it's the last 4 teams. And then we'll see if they get to the NBA Cup. And hey, man, Hawks could win a in-season championship. So that will be interesting for sure. And like I said, my questions I posed to you guys: is this the most impressive win of the season for the Hawks against Cleveland tonight? And should the Hawks hang a banner if they won the NBA Cup? So those are my 2 questions to you guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning into the Believe in Hawks podcast. Definitely, like I said, if you really enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Bryce_2K, or leave a rating, leave a review for me on any audio platform that you're listening to, as this is available across all audio platforms for Believe in Hawks. And obviously follow me on Twitter at Brycey_2K. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. It's your boy Bryce Lewis. See you next time.